We're actually on day 17. This is the Laver part 2. Just to kind of, catch you up on what's happening is that we're going through the Tabernacle Prayer. And when the Israelites actually went through the gate, they first came across the Brazen Altar. This is where they sacrificed the animals. I used to think that it was just the animals that were being sacrificed was, Christ blood being shed for us. But remember, when they were in Egypt, they cut the lamb open. That was representing Christ. But when they went in the wilderness, every year they were sacrificing animals. Jesus died only one time. Who was that animal? That was to represent us, that we must come as living sacrifices. But just to give you a picture now, they're at the Brazen Altar. The priests lay their hands on the animal's head, and they basically imparted the people's sin onto the animal, and they kill the animal because the animals will represent that person, that person being a living sacrifice. Now imagine them cutting all this blood and everything's getting on their hands and it's falling on their feet. They're cutting up the animal. After they leave the Brazen Altar, we come to the laver, which was basically a big bowl where it was filled with water made out of looking glass, and they would wash their hands and their feet because they had all this blood, all the dirt from under their feet. All this stuff got on them while they were doing ministry for the Lord. And here's the thing is that at this laver, I thought about that one day and I said, man, imagine when we go and do things for God, when we go and minister to people, there's so much stuff that we end up walking away with. We minister to people and then, someone may not respond the right way and then we walk away angry. We walk away bitter. Or we will do ministry and sacrifice all this and we don't see any fruit of our labor, and with this happens and we maybe end up getting jealous over what others have succeeded and what they've gotten out of doing the work that they have. And it's, there's all this stuff in our heart, and God reveals our heart even with ministry. We're doing ministry, but all of a sudden there's temptation. There's temptation for anger, temptation for lust, bitterness, complacency, selfish motives. All these things begin to come up to the surface, and it's at the laver that we want to renounce these things. We don't want any of this stuff to hinder and come in between the intimacy that we have with God. And so here on this day in the book, I list some renunciations that as you go through the prayers, I want you to repeat after me. I'm going to go over just a few of them, and I want you to repeat after me. Just renounce these things. You want to have no part in this, and I'm going to renounce it. But here, let me just do this. Would you all just pray with me? Let's repeat after me. Say, I renounce all lust, immorality, perversion, impurity, uncleanness, immoral relationships, ungodly covenants, and sexual sin in the name of Jesus. Say, I renounce all fear, unbelief, double-mindedness, confusion, anxiety, worry, and doubt in the name of Jesus. I renounce all anger, hatred, negativity, revenge, retaliation, resentment, rage, fury, unforgiveness, and bitterness in the name of Jesus. I want to do one more. Say, I forgive any person who has ever hurt me, mistreated me, molested me, rejected me, disappointed me, abandoned me, abused me, manipulated me, and cheated on me in the name of Jesus. See, during this day, this is what you're dealing with. You're letting go of those things that interfere with the intimacy that you should be having with God. That our minds are so cluttered with all this other stuff, because of how we've been hurt, what happened to us, what they said about us, what they did, what we have not achieved, what we have not accomplished yet. All the things in our hearts that's literally just keeping us from pouring our hearts and totally surrendering to the Lord with the intimacy that he's after, because all this other stuff is on our minds, in our hearts, that has all of our attention off of him and on everything else. On today, I want you to go through this book, pray these prayers, renounce it. And also on it, we talk about, on this day, of crying out to the Lord, having a contrite spirit, a broken spirit, because we all cry when we're going through things, and we cry out to God because we know that God is a provider. He is. But this is different, because a contrite spirit says this: I'm going to cry over the things that break your heart, God, not mine. This breaks your heart, I'm crying. This is how you feel about it, God, I'm crying. I'm crying out for those things that are concerns of yours. This is where my heart is. This is what we're dealing with on day 17. So I pray, listen, I pray that this day is a blessing to you, and that you draw closer to God every single day as we take this journey with this 40 days of presence. Listen, I hope this was a blessing. Peace. Go through the prayers continually. Go through the prayers. Go the next day. Go through those prayers. It will be a blessing to you. God bless you. Peace.